Hey, how's it going? Coach Kyle here. And I just had a really interesting, very short conversation with a runner via Facebook Messenger. And this is somebody who I've worked with a little bit before, so I'm somewhat familiar with them. And she did her first marathon very recently, and it did not go well. And she had some IT band issue come up, I think during the taper. And then like race day, it stormed in the morning, so they pushed the race back, and she didn't start until like 9:30 in the morning, and I think it was a little unseasonably warm if I remember correctly. And she she finished. It took far longer than her abilities and her expectations would have suggested. And she mentioned to me that some her friend of hers kind of invited her to do an ultra marathon next year, and she's really on the edge. She's really concerned about the thought of the ultra because the marathon went so poorly. But I told her that this a lot of what she did wasn't really her fault. Like, yeah, the injury maybe could have been prevented, but it sounds like once it she felt that little twinge of knee discomfort, she addressed it appropriately. So that's really good. Maybe she could have done something in the month, 2 months leading up to it that would have helped. I don't know. But once she felt it, I think she addressed it appropriately. And then like the weather, she found out she didn't really like huge events. Out of your control, so she didn't actively make any mistakes, and so like the race went really poorly. And I tried to explain to her that it was a fluke. Like, don't let this one poor race where things, none of the things that she mentioned that she didn't like about it were direct consequences or results of poor decisions on her part. Like you're never going to know if you don't like large events without doing a large event. In the weather, totally out of your control. Just things like that. So I told her, don't let a fluke event, this fluke marathon, dictate, or hold back or hinder your future goals. And this is very important to consider, is that if you ever have a race like this, don't let one bad race scare you or prevent you from doing other things you might enjoy. I told her that since so much of this race, so much of what she didn't like about it, so much that she didn't enjoy about it, so much of it was totally out of her control, that it just as easily could have been a great day. The weather could have been great. The race would have started on time. Maybe it would have been a smaller event, or she would have enjoyed the larger event. All of this stuff totally could have happened, and then she would have had a fantastic race. It would have been a really good run. She would have enjoyed it, and her thought process towards the upcoming potential ultra marathon would be totally positive, I expect. So can take things from an outsider's point of view, like I took, like I'm giving her my outside point of view on this race. Think about, one of the best tips I can give people is, if you were your coach, what would you do? What would you say? What would you recommend? So as somebody with an outside point of view, what would the thought process be? And in this case, I just tried to remind her, and I think I helped a little bit, would be that don't let a fluke event, things that were out of your control, hold you back or dictate your future goals. I told her to go for it. The ultra is completely different than a marathon. The training is a little more. The training is a little different. The racing, I feel like ultras are more laid back, more relaxed. It's a totally different event, and I told her to go for it, and I hope she does. So that's what I got. As always, you keep running, I'll keep coaching.